Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Harrison tonight. How we doing, Harrison?
Awesome. How we doing, bud?
Not too bad. We had some snow down here in North Carolina, so we all know how the panic sets in down here down south. But it's pretty much gone now. So
The world is coming to an end. I remember going down to Charlotte back when the old HQ was there, and I remember getting in the office one morning at like 7:30 after like an inch of snow, and I was all by myself in an office that usually had like 1,500 people in it.
yeah, yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, we are on episode 186. Free agency musical chairs continue, and we will explain that as you will see as we get into the show here. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram, follow on Rumble. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also support us by finding our links on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. We are affiliate sponsors, or they are our affiliate sponsors. You can click on the link and buy products through these three companies, and we get a nice little kickback that shows that they support us and we support them. It's just a nice little partnership we have going. So if you're going to buy products from these companies, you can do it through us. We get a nice little kickback and no additional cost to you. So do us a favor and do your shopping for these companies through us. So thank you in advance.
Yeah, thanks for those that have done it, and they run some crazy online deals. So if there's anything on your wish list, check it out because they run some crazy deals online only.
That's right. All right, we're gonna hop right into it here. I think the biggest news story really of the week was the Brent Rooker extension with the A's. I think we've been calling this the last 3 or 4 weeks, knowing that the A's had to get to this $100 million threshold to keep the MLBPA and owners off their backs. They had to do something. And I don't think there was any more free agents out there that they could get to get over that threshold. So this was a way to do it. Signs the extension, 5 years, $60 million to get them there. Does this make the A's a legit contender, or do they at least have a chance to compete for the AL West? What are your thoughts on the A's right now?
Yeah, so I'm not at a point where I'm going to say the A's are going to contend for the West, but I will say they're not going to be a doormat. They're not going to be a team you can walk over. They're better than they were last year, and I think they're going to surprise some people. I think in the end they finish a distant, third or fourth, probably most likely a distant fourth. But they're not going to be a terrible kind of a joke like they have been. That's a team that's got pretty good pitching. They got a good young core of hitters. I think they're going to surprise people.
Yeah, I'm with you. We've been talking about how open the AL West is, looking like it's going to be. You never know. It's baseball. Like it could be a one-sided affair out there. We don't know. But I'm thinking the A's could be near the top for the first 3 or 4 months, and then I can kind of see them fading back to reality, maybe a little bit. I could see them coming out hot and then kind of fading back, but they're not going to be the laughing stock.
No,
that's for
no.
sure.
I think the days of them being a joke are over. Fisher has the money. He always had the money. He wants to win, just didn't want to win in Oakland. Now that they're free of Oakland, I think you're going to see this team be a lot better. There may still be moves for them to make, but I agree. I think they're a team that's going to kind of hang around, eventually fade out. But they're not a team that's going to start the season at the bottom of the divisions and division standings and just stay there. Like they will make some noise.
Yeah, you have a lot of young guys coming back with another year of MLB experience underneath their belts. They're only going to get better. Langoliers, Butler, Rooker. So I'm kind of excited to see what they are. And if Springs and Severino comes in, and even if they pitch 500 baseball, that's already better than what the A's have had the last 5, 6, 15 years. So I'm kind of excited to see what they look like, especially like I keep saying with the AL West wide open.
Yeah, and the player I'm most excited to see next year is Lawrence Butler. He was electric this past year. Another year of experience under his belt. I can't wait to see what he does this year. He's a
Yeah.
fourth.
Yeah. All right. We have the Dodgers trade Gavin Lux to the Reds. So the Dodgers get a competitive balance pick, round A, and outfield prospect Mike Soroka, not to be confused with Mike Soroka. So that competitive balance pick, round A, is that pick between, I think it's the first and second rounds. If it's round A, I think it's between the first and second rounds of the draft if you spent above the luxury tax floor.
Yes. So
Correct.
so A is between the first and second, B is the second and third. And these were the old compensation picks you used to get when somebody with a qualifying offer signed. Now they're also part of this pool too.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, this addresses the Reds' need at second base with India going to the Royals. So how do we think Gavin Lux fits in that Cincinnati Reds lineup?
Gavin Lux to me is a bit of a mystery. He came up with so much hype. He was such a big deal, and then he immediately got hurt, and then he was slow to come back, and he had a really slow start after that, and he's turned into be a pretty decent second baseman. But I don't think we've really seen who Gavin Lux truly is yet. He's always been he went from really hyped prospect to guy that sort of had a job, but it wasn't like for sure. I think Cincinnati's a great spot for him to basically restart. Like, let's relaunch, do it in Cincinnati. I'm going to play every day. There's not the same pressure here as in LA, and just see what he is. I mean, that could end up being a massive steal for the Reds or not.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a great reset for him to go and play every day, just like you said. And there's nobody behind him pushing him out looking for his job, right? Like he is going to be penciled in at second base every single day. No one's going to push him out of that position. You know, Mookie's not going to come in from right and play second, or Edmonds not going to come in and play second just because, you know, he's in an 0 for 4 slump. No, dude, if you're, 0 for your last 12, you're still going to be in there at second base as long as you're healthy. Like, no one's taking your spot. This is yours. Like, let's develop into the player we know you can be. That's where I think going to Cincinnati is going to help.
Yeah, and I think the X
sure.
factor here is a guy like Tito Francona. I think Francona is going to be, a really good influence on him. Helping him settle into a new place, but I think also helping him develop and get comfortable and build that confidence and play to the level he can play. LA is just a totally different beast. All the personalities, all the expectations, all the money. He kind of got lost in the shuffle there. I think a reset in Cincinnati will be good. I think Francona will be huge for him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Still don't know what to think of this Reds team. At all. Like, I don't know. Kind of lost with them. Like, they're just so young, but that central's such a question mark that I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm lost. Like, are they gonna? Because a couple of years ago, they looked like these young kids are like, oh well, they're ready to go. They're ready to compete now because they were close to the wild card. They were close to the wild card last year too, I believe, or in it.
Yeah, they faded down the
while.
stretch, but they were in it for a while.
Right. So when does this team get over that hump and get into the playoffs for the first time in a while?
I don't think they're there yet. I view it as last year was like the assessment. What do we have? Next year is okay, let's take one more step forward and let's stay on the edge and be close. And then I think it's 26 where you see them take the next step forward. Because by then like who's really going to make it, who's not. Who might be in the queue that's going to take somebody else's spot. What holes do you really have? I think this is a big year for them to see who takes that step forward, and then you build your team in 26 based on that.
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned already, I think the Francona signing is absolutely humongous, and who knows, he could bring him to the playoffs this first year. Promised Land is a little far out, especially with that National League gauntlet, but they're heading in the right direction, I believe.
And just here in the chat, Michael here, being a Mariner fan, we've been asking Mariner fans lately, like, what's going on in Seattle? You know, we made the joke last week, like, is the front office even open? You know, what are the expectations from Mariners fans? Do you think that's a playoff team? Are they going to make any moves? They going to make some trades? Like, where are they? Where's that team at? We can't figure out what they're doing.
No. So we appreciate this feedback, and we do try to interact with you guys as well, right? But we also like to keep our conversation flowing. So if you have something to add to our conversation while we're going, then we'll put it in the show. So,
well, and ideally they'd be comments that
go.
were actually like really related to baseball. That'd be great.
Right. Exactly. Yep. All right. So Pete Alonso, this and the Alex Bregman news. I don't have a slide for Alex Bregman, but we can talk about him when we're talking about Pete here. Alonso's camps offers the Mets an exclusive deal, which was 3 years, opt-outs only. He's seeking a 6+ year deal. And what do you think the chances are of a team giving him a 6-year?
I mean,
it's deal?
At this point, he's spoken to everybody in the marketplace that's interested in him. Nobody's offered him 6 years. He's had some offers that are much shorter than that. I would say the chance of getting a 6-year deal are 0. I think he's going to be a 2 to 3 year contract guy, maybe with some, I don't know, maybe some option years or something like that he can earn out. But he's a 30-year-old first baseman with a declining bat who doesn't play great defense. You can only count on getting so much out of him for so long. And I think that's where he's at. You've seen the best of Pete Alonso. Is he still going to be good for the next few years? Yeah, he's going to be good for the next few years. But do you count on him at 35, 36? I don't think you can.
No, I'm with you. I think he has to go back to the Mets at this point. It sounds like no other team is interested in what he's doing.
No, I mean he's now
or what he's
he's now basically like begging the Mets to take him back. Like he's now making offers to the Mets. Like, I won't go 6, I'll go 3 with an opt out. Or like, it's instead of the teams making offers to him, he's making offers to the Mets in a hopes, I think, that he can show like, I'll meet you guys halfway, but I really want to come back. And I think that's because there is no market left for him. He's going to have to just, kind of close his nose and sign a deal that sucks. And it's going to be with the Mets. I think he's more comfortable going to the Mets.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. Juan Soto on the Mets makes the Mets better. It does. But I don't think the Mets have done enough other than Soto to make them legit contenders. I mean, they needed starting pitching, and all they did was re-sign Manaea. You don't know, like, Clay Holmes is a question mark. Frankie Montas is a question mark. I don't know. You're banking a lot on Kodai Senga and Manaea to carry that rotation, and a Juan Soto to keep you out of slumps. But if there's any player in the league that can do that, it's Juan Soto. I think Pete Alonso does ultimately go back to the Mets. No other team seems to be interested. I mean, even the Seattle Mariners that don't have anybody that can hit aren't even interested in Pete Alonso. That should say something. I think he ends up going back to the Mets. And there's definitely no chance he gets a 6-year deal at the end of this. I will be utterly shocked if he gets a 6-year deal.
And I think the question too with Juan Soto is like, who in that lineup is going to back him up right now? Like, who's going to protect him? Because without a guy like Pete kind of looming in the background, how is Juan Soto just going to like lead the league in on-base percentage because he's getting walked a ton? I mean, because Lindor and whoever else is sitting at the top of the lineup is going to benefit from Soto being in the lineup. But if nobody's going to back up Soto, which I think Alonso makes a lot of sense, the lefty-righty combo and some power, what are you going to get out of Soto? I mean, Soto changes that lineup in a lot of ways, but you want to benefit from Soto's bat.
Yeah, you do have Mark Vientos. It's proven that he's got some pop in that bat, but that's only his 2nd year in the league here. So, that's a lot of pressure to put on him. Like, hey, dude, you got to protect Juan Soto in this lineup. Like, that's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I was just going to go there too. I think, I mean, I've not seen the reports that Mike Trout's actually talked to management, but I think him going to the Phillies makes a lot of sense. Gets him closer to home in Jersey. He could easily slot into that lineup. I don't know that they have the money to pay Trout with all the other contracts they have, but maybe the Angels will eat some of it for a good enough deal. But I think Trout to Philly would make a ton of sense if the Angels are really, or if the Angels are really just going to like mail it in.
I mean, he's been to more Eagles games than he's been on for Angels games lately. So, yeah, I mean, I think the rumors about that has bounced around the last couple of years. To be
at least a couple
completely
years
honest,
now.
like,
I mean, every time he shows up at an Eagles game
yeah.
or a Sixers game, people are like, "Oh, he loves Philly." Well, no, he's from Jersey, like he's from right nearby.
Right. Yeah, that's his team
For sure.
But yeah, that him on the Phillies
That lineup would be
ridiculous.
nuts.
Him and even if he only played 80 games like he does, but that's insane. All right. Justin Verlander finds a home. 1 year, $15 million deal with the Giants. What does Verlander bring to this Giants rotation?
Experience. Hopefully more than a mediocre fastball like he showed last year. And hopefully health. I mean, he is a guy that was traditionally healthy. He's had a rough couple of seasons. The velocity's down. He's had some injuries. He's missed some time. Even when he's been on the field, he hasn't been 100%. But he's 41 years old. I mean, the joke kind of going around is the fact like Buster Posey was it 3 or 5 years younger than Verlander, who signed him.
Yeah, right.
I mean, look, if anybody can do it, it's Verlander. If he can come back and pitch, I think it's a steal. I just don't know what you're going to get out of a 41-year-old Justin Verlander coming off what was a really not exciting season from him.
Yeah. Age, I mean, he's just going to eat innings, hopefully. I think is all this signing is. And hopefully put some bugs into some of these young kids' ears like Kyle Harrison and give him some pointers on the mound going forward. Because, I mean, who else better to learn from than Justin Verlander? I mean, one of the best to ever do it in our generation.
And that's a fair point. I think the intangibles of Verlander might be better than the tangibles of Verlander because his experience, his knowledge. You know, I think like when Kurt Schilling came to the Red Sox, like he helped with the pitches on the staff because his preparation was so meticulous. His mechanics were so dialed in.
Right.
He was just like super focused on pitching. He knew everything. He's seen everybody. He'd done everything. I think Verlander fills that role for the Giants. He's the elder statesman that's seen it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're not going to get 250 inning Justin Verlander this year for the Giants. I mean, there's just no way. I think you're almost there as a coach per se. So I don't know.
I mean, I think with Verlander, you're hoping to get 20 to 25 starts out of him. Hopefully he goes 5 innings. You know, you're probably in that 120 inning range, which I think would be enough.
Yep.
Assuming that he's good. I mean, if he's not good, this is going to be a disaster, but
yeah. So Reggie Crawford, he's a two-way guy. If I just saw that right, it's kind of cool. First baseman and first pitcher. So pretty cool. He was in high A last year. So we'll see. I mean, he's still how old?
He's 24.
He's 24. I mean,
it kills me seeing these guys born in the early 2000s. It really does.
Right. Yeah. But that's cool. Another two-way player. I think the Rays had one in their system for a while, another first base pitcher there, but I don't know if he's made it to the show yet, but
yeah. And then there's people saying that Michael Lorenzen should try to go 2 ways because he actually has a very good swing. But
yeah,
I think people underestimate how difficult being a 2-way player is. And I think we'll see that next year with Shohei. You know, he was 50-50 this year, didn't have to pitch, just focused on hitting when he's pitching again, those numbers will come back to reality. As they have. You look at the years that he pitched in Anaheim, and his offensive numbers were lower than the years he didn't pitch. It makes sense. It's hard to do both.
I mean, his numbers were still ridiculous.
Like, he still hit 35 home runs.
Right. But yeah, you're not going to see a 50-50 season if he's back pitching full time. I agree fully. And nor do the Dodgers want that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dodgers want him stealing 50 bases.
Yeah, I don't think. Pitching. Yeah, The plan is not to have him diving headfirst into second base in the third inning of a game he's starting. No.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely not.
And that's the other part too to keep in mind
All
is
right.
that he is gonna be somewhat limited on in what he does based on the fact they're gonna try to protect that arm.
Yep. All right. Jeff Hoffman. So 3 years, $33 million with the Blue Jays, essentially an expensive swap for Jordan Romano. And then I put this in the caption because it later came out after the signing that the Orioles had him signed and then his physical was flagged. So they're like, yep, no thanks. So, the Giants with Carlos Correa, it was pretty much a done deal. And then they're like, oh, wait, no thanks. So the same thing with Jeff Hoffman here. So pretty much him and Jordan Romano just switched spots, and the Phillies end up paying Romano a lot less than they would have had to pay Hoffman. So, I mean, not a big needle mover in any direction,
no,
but just a straight
swap. Good bullpen arm. And if I remember correctly, the physical was flagged for an arm thing, which is what really got the Orioles nervous. It was a throwing arm issue, either elbow or shoulder. They did not like the scans. And given all the arm injuries we're seeing with pitchers, I don't blame them because it seems like every other day somebody's got a UCL problem and they just pop up on you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I don't care who you are, like $11 million to just pay a guy that's on the shelf that you sign for free agency doesn't really help the team any.
No, it doesn't help at all.
No. And then this one kind of shocked me. I'm not gonna lie. Blue Jays give Alek Manoah $2.2 million to avoid arbitration. Will the Blue Jays get the old Manoah back? I don't know. What's your faith on that, Harrison?
I mean, there's been a bunch of articles that have come out the last week or two saying that Manoah found a mechanical flaw and he's feeling good and he's back where he was and velocity's back and control is back and blah, blah, blah. We heard the same thing last year and he came back and imploded after going down to Florida. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it with Manoah. I will say he's only 26, I believe. He's still got great stuff. It's in there somewhere. I don't know how quickly or if ever we get it back. But having him come back would be massive for the Blue Jays. He was slated to be the ace, and not having him has really jammed up their rotation. It's moved guys around. You're missing that ace. You're missing your true stopper, who Manoah is supposed to be. I hope for the Blue Jays' sake he comes back. I'd love to see him come back, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, same. It is sad because he was so dominant when he came up, and like in the Cy Young discussion, pitch clock comes out and it's just game over. That was it. And so I don't know what I don't know what a mechanical flaw necessarily would mean if he just has to speed up his delivery. Because I mean, he took a long time between pitches before the pitch clock was a thing, and then just seemed to imploded with that. Maybe he was dropping his arm slot or something as he was speeding up his deliveries to try to stay under the pitch clock.
He was one of the slowest workers around the league before the pitch clock came out. And from what I read, it sounds like the mechanical issue was something in how he was releasing off the mound, kind of shifting his body forward. He was coming out unbalanced. And it sounds like that may have been more related to speeding up for the clock, like trying to rush the delivery. Then he just built the bad habit. We'll see if that's all it was. Great. And if they can get him resynced, that's awesome, but he needs to be able to throw a pitch in 18 seconds, which previously he never could have done.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Bobby Dahlbeck signs minor league contract with the White Sox. Absolute dud in Boston. As Boston fans, we saw flashes of this guy where he would be scorching hot for a week and then wouldn't show up the rest of the season. It's crazy. Ton of pop, ton of power, but just could not find the consistency. And first base was his for the taking. Just never could quite get there. You could go down to AAA.
I was say down at Worcester, he hit 35 home runs and hit 500-foot bombs.
It is crazy that step up was just a little too much for him. Just couldn't
He's one of
quite
those
do
like
it.
4A players. Like he's too good for AAA, not good enough for Major League Baseball. Like he needs a step in between. And I will say part of it with Dahlbeck, I believe, was he rakes in the minors, then he comes and sits on the bench in Boston, and then he plays like every few days. And a guy like him, big power, a big timing thing, hits a lot of fastballs. You can't sit for 3 days, grab a bat, and go 3 for 4.
Right.
Minus a very select few elite hitters. You're not going to sit on the bench and play twice a week and hit 300. You're just not.
No.
And he was a guy
Yeah.
that didn't really have a spot, and he never really got a chance to truly earn it because there's always somebody else that was like platooning with him, coming up behind him. I would have liked to see a longer sample set in Boston, but at the same time, like when he was bad, he was real bad. Like hitting a buck
Yeah.
50, striking out like 3 out of 4 at bats. Like when he was off, he was way off. And the Red Sox just couldn't have patience with that.
Yep, and he'll go to the White Sox. He'll get a chance to play every day and see if he can find it. And wish him all the luck. But man, talk about a White Sox team that's going to be. They might be even tougher to watch this next year than they were last year. Let's just think about that for a minute.
Or they're going to pick up all these scraps from guys that didn't get like everyday playing time. They're going to get everyday playing time. They're going to become good players. And you're going to be like, oh damn, there's Bobby Dahlbeck hitting 28 home runs this year. He really could do it. Okay. Yeah. I just, not that I'm expecting that, but the White Sox are going to go one of two ways. Or they're going to pick up the scraps, they're going to continue to be scraps, or they're going to pick up the scraps and end up being pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, Michael Lorenzen, 1 year, $7 million, $12 million mutual option for 2026, bolsters that Royals rotation there. So just add some more depth. Good for the Royals. We saw them make the playoffs this year. Do they take the next step? I don't know. I don't know if they did enough. I don't think Jonathan India is quite enough to get the Royals to the next step. He's a great piece. He's a nice piece. I don't think it's quite enough. I mean, we'll see.
I think the Royals are a wild card team again that'll get bumped in the first or second round. I mean, I think they're going to come back and do the same thing we saw last year. Yeah, I mean, fair. Are they a little bit better? Maybe, but like not significantly. They're not going to overtake the Yankees or somebody like that in the playoffs. No way.
No. All right. Orioles sign Andrew Kittredge, 1 year, $10 million. So this is one of the first since the Tyler O'Neill and Gary Sanchez signing. The Orioles have been ultra quiet this offseason, which we keep talking about every week. I don't understand why they're ultra quiet. They have all these young kids ready to go now. Your window's open. Like, get some pieces around these kids and compete. You've been to the playoffs 2 years in a row. You've won 100 games the first year, and then what was it, 96, 97 last year, something like that, 90-something. You're there. You are there. You need some pieces to get you past that first round, and you're just not. Do they not have the roster room for it? Santander's gone. Burns is gone. Like, what are you doing?
You've lost two major pieces of that team. Your ace, and then your middle, one of your middle of the order thumpers. Really your primary middle of the order thumper.
44 and 100.
Yeah,
guy.
Tyler O'Neill's a nice player, and he's going to play 100 games for you, and probably hit 25 home runs in that time, and blow you away with some talent when he's healthy. Gary Sanchez is whatever. Andrew Kittredge, again, kind of whatever. This is a team that's taking a pretty big step back, and they're running out of time and players available to make any moves.
Agree fully. I just don't understand what they're doing, because like we said, the owner has the income to do this. I don't have the books in front of me, obviously, but like, it seems like this guy has got the Steve Cohen, thank you, goodness gracious, type payroll,
yep.
Right? I mean, no one has Steve Cohen money, but this guy's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, David Rubenstein is the founder of the Carlyle Group, one of the largest private equity firms in the country. He's got a deep group of investors behind him, including Michael Bloomberg, Cal Ripken, Grant Hill, like seriously heavy hitters. And I really thought they'd come out more aggressive because Rubenstein is a Orioles fan. That is his team. That's his hometown team. Yeah. So I'm surprised they've been so quiet because I thought they were going to come out and just start launching money around, but they're not.
I did. Yeah, I did too. But I mean, maybe they are banking on Kyle Bradish coming back. Grayson Rodriguez taking another step forward to replace Burns' production, but it's really hard to replace an ace and a 40, 44, and 100 guy in the same offseason.
Yeah, there's nobody out there really aside from getting those guys back, which you can't get Burns back now, to replace those. And you don't have no disrespect to the players they do have in that rotation still. None of them are Corbin Burns 2.0, at least not now.
No.
Like that's a huge blow. I mean, offensively, you've got all kinds of young bats. Like you can probably make up the loss of Santander through other ways. Burns, that's a different story.
Yep. Agree 100%. All right. Nationals are making a couple moves here. They're really banking on the veterans here. So they must have listened to our Christmas list here, Harrison. But so another veteran signing here for the Nationals, Ahmed Rosario. Do these offseason signings do anything for their improvement as a team overall?
I mean, I think that, what is it? Nathaniel Lowe, Josh Bell, and Rosario now, are those the three kind of big additions?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, well,
yeah, I mean, in air quotes, I mean, I don't mean to like mock these guys, but
yeah.
Does it do a lot? No. Does it help? Yeah, I think it helps. I think those are three solid veterans, very competent ball players, can put up some numbers for you. I think it's gonna be good to have some veterans around that young core to help some of those young players develop. But are the Nationals significantly better today than they were at the end of last year? No. I think they're about the same team, maybe a hair better, but they're in a division that is going it's going to be brutal. I mean, you're not taking on the Braves or the Mets, like Braves, Mets, or Phillies. I'm sorry. Like, what are you going to do?
You can battle the Marlins for last place is what you can do. But
yeah, I mean, you're fighting for fourth place. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the Marlins have spent $0, so you're really not at risk of not getting fourth place.
Right. I mean, I remember when we went to the Nationals and Orioles games a couple of years ago, we're sitting there watching the Nationals play, and we're like, who are these guys? And this was June. And we're just like, we don't know any of these guys. They're so young. But yeah, I think getting veterans in there is going to show the young kids, like, this is how it's done. This is how it's supposed to go. So I think it's good for the Nationals to do something. Like you said, I don't know if it necessarily improves their standing, but it does make them a better team, I would say. But
yes, I think, are they a better team? Yes. Are they significantly better? No, but they're better. But in the end, it doesn't friggin' matter because they're behind the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets. And
right, exactly.
Good luck.
They should just have like a division where they take all the last place teams and just put them in there for the next season, almost like Premier League soccer.
Like I say, just like Premier League soccer.
Yeah, put the Rockies, the Marlins, the Nationals, all those teams in one division and just let them fight to the death. But I mean, that will never happen. But whatever.
And then the flip side of that is that you put all the good teams together, so you'd have the Dodgers, the Padres, Braves, Phillies, Mets, like all beating the crap out of each other all year.
Right.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So Jorge Lopez, as you remember, as the guy that went off the mound at Citi Field and threw his glove into the crowd, and then immediately got cut, signs 1 year, $3 million with the Nationals. So, like I said here, even though these aren't big moves, it's nice to see the Nats trying to improve. Like you said, in a division that's an absolute gauntlet. So, not a huge signing here for the Nationals, but just a nice little bullpen arm, and good for Jorge Lopez sticking around and finding another job.
But I think to your point, more than anything, are these big signings? No, but it's just nice to see the Nationals like active.
Right.
Like see the Nationals actually doing something, because they were, I mean, if I remember correctly, a few years back, they almost went belly up and had to get financial support from the league because of all the deferred money and the hangover of the World Series and, the Patrick Corbin contract, and like a lot of that's behind them now. So they actually have some money again.
Yeah, the
And it's
Steven
nice to see them make
Strasburg.
some moves.
Yeah, that Strasburg debacle, whatever that was, the trying to retire, wouldn't let him retire. Like, it's good to kind of have all that in the rearview mirror now.
Yeah, the anti-retirement that they had for him.
Yeah, terrible. All right, let's cover some rumors that we are seeing around or hearing around the league. Luis Ariz, his name continues to pop up. It did look like the Yankees checked in on him. That has died down a little bit. But then news came out yesterday, I read, that the Red Sox could be checking on Sandy Alcantara. So I would like that. I know we got some injury history there. He had that 1 year where he was absolutely unhittable. But what have you heard on your side, Harrison?
Yeah, so I've heard the same thing about Ariz. The Yankees have checked in on him. It was a no, didn't fit for them. And we put a video out this week kind of about Ariz and why is he constantly getting traded. I think the fact of the matter is that all he is a singles hitter. He doesn't walk. He doesn't strike out. He can't run. He can't field. So like really all you're getting is a guy that hits a ton of singles, which is value, but he's not really a leadoff hitter. Like he's not your typical table setter, get on base a lot, steal bases, create chaos. He's a slow-footed singles hitter.
Yeah.
And I think it's a guy that, as appealing as the batting titles are and all that, like when you dig into the metrics, you kind of go, wow, like he doesn't really do much for you.
Right.
Not to downplay it in 316. That's not a joke, but at the same time, it's like that's all he does for you. So the Yankees ultimately decided like they can't play him at second base every day. That's not going to work. They can't play him at third. So like defensively, there's no fit for him. You can't tie him up as a DH. That's just not going to work.
Right.
So for the Yankees, it was, it doesn't work for us. And then I've heard the same thing for other teams that have checked in on him. Mostly it's been just calling to say, what's the asking price? A lot of teams saying, no, we're good. And the Alcantara just popped up too. And that one to the Red Sox would be interesting. Coming off a lost season, new arm. So I'd be curious what he looks like in 2025. But he is, the Marlins at some point are going to have to move him because he's just not going to fit with what they're doing. They're not going to pay to keep him. So why not do it now? And the Red Sox have so many prospects right now that they can move. So, and that's what the Marlins want. The Marlins want to load up the minor league system and figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on everything Luis Ariz. Like yes, batting champion, 3 years, 3 different teams. I get it. But like you said, that's literally all he does. He's such a good contact hitter that he doesn't walk, which is like it goes against him because he's not getting on base. So like, where do you put him? I almost have him on the bench and come off as a pinch hitter and be like, dude, we need a single right here. We need a ball in play. Like that's where Luis Ariz fits. But when your batting average is 316 and your on base percentage is 316, that's an issue. I don't know if that's actually what it is. I'm just saying if it's near the same, it's an issue.
Yeah. So like I've got his stats up 2024, 314 batting average, 346 OBP.
Okay. Right.
24 walks, 29 Ks. 2023 hit 354 with a 393 OBP, 35 walks, 34 Ks. And then in 2022, he hit 316, 375 OBP, 50 walks, and 43 Ks. So it's a guy who's averaging, what is that? 20, it's 30 to 40 walks a year. And his career average, he's a 372 on base guy with a 323 average.
Yeah.
And he slugs 418, which means he's hitting a ton of singles.
Right.
Ton of singles.
Yeah. Which is nice. Like I said, nice in some situations, but not what you're looking for. Very one-dimensional.
Yeah. Last year, 30 of his 159 hits were extra base hits. So 129 singles and 159 hits.
Yikes. Crazy. All right.
Oh, sorry. It was 39. Sorry, 39 of 200. I was looking at just the Padres time.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Either way. Crazy.
A lot of singles.
Yeah. All right. News came out today that the 2 fans that tried to tear off Mookie Betts' glove in the World Series are banned indefinitely from all major league parks, not just Yankee Stadium. So banned indefinitely, and as they should be. I mean, listen, I'm all for trying to catch a foul ball that's in the stands, but not to that extent. Like that's a little excessive. But and we've talked about it when it happened during the World Series and all that stuff. But a couple of goons that were just absolutely wasted and didn't really. Anyways,
And they still don't think what they did was wrong. That's the scary part.
Yeah,
like they grabbed his glove, bent his wrist, and tried to rip the ball out of his hand, out of his glove. Like, does nobody have a problem with that? I mean, I'm glad to see MLB finally said no. This is never going to happen again. But like the Yankees were slow to react to it until MLB kind of forced them to react to it. Yankees fans were like cheering these guys on the way out. It was ridiculous. But I'm glad to see these guys are not welcome back anytime soon.
Right. And it's not like his hand was in the glove and then Mookie's kind of wrapped around it, right? Mookie makes the catch, they grab it and pry it open. Like it was excessive. I'm glad it was dealt with and they can't go back. I mean, I'm sure there's still ways they can get into a Major League Baseball. They just can't use their names when they're buying tickets.
Right. Exactly. Right? Yeah. They don't have like face scanners at the door to say, oh no, like,
right.
That's little Timmy and he can't come in.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure there's still ways they could sneak into a game, but given the notoriety they had from that event, it might be hard to sneak into a lot of ballparks, but I'm sure they'll be in a ballpark again. If they're smart, they'll sit way out in the bleachers and hide.
Yep. Agree.
Then the sad part is they're going to be banned. Actually, they might get reinstated before Pete Rose does.
There's no probablys about it. They will. Oh man. All right. Red Sox are bringing back the green unis. Yes, let's go. I'm
the pumped. St. Patty's green.
Love it. So I can bring my Beartech jersey out of retirement. They say it's their new City Connects, but it doesn't say that they're getting rid of the yellow ones. I didn't see that anywhere.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna rotate both of them in.
Okay.
My understanding. So. It sounds like many teams are trying to use them more like an alternate too, so they get out there more often.
Okay.
Like Sunday games and things like that. So I think you're going to see the Red Sox mix in the red, the green, the yellow, and kind of try to use all of them.
Yeah, I'm still mad that they got rid of the navy blues. I love the navy blues. No. I really wish they kept those, but I'm glad the greens are back. Good old Irish town of Boston.
Well, and we were saying before the show, like I get and I appreciate the message behind the yellow. You know, the finish line, all about the marathon Boston bombing. I get it, but those uniforms are ugly, and I understand the sentiment behind them. That's great. But green in an Irish city makes a lot more sense. Not that those are great either, but the yellow is obnoxious. At least the green I can handle.
Yeah. I love these. I'm sorry, John. I know you don't like them, but I'm all about these. And I know a lot of baseball fans are so traditional when it comes to their uniforms. Like Yankees haven't changed their uniforms in 185 years. You know, like the Red Sox really haven't changed their uniforms that much until the marathon and these ones. The Cubs really are, the same. The pinstripes, the C. Like not a lot of changes on the old teams. Like I get it. A lot of people are traditional. And we're like kind of stuck in between, I feel, because like when all the City Connect uniforms were coming out, we were like, oh my God, these are brutal, which most of them were. Yeah, some of them actually were. But some of it's also us being like, oh, well, we don't want you changing what baseball looks like and what I remember baseball looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's
a lot of tradition.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate MLB trying to make baseball cool and fun and exciting and colorful and bringing more fans in. Like I appreciate that. There's also a boatload of history and tradition here that we don't want to just throw out the window to make it look cool to draw in fans that are going to show up twice a year versus those of us that are there every night. So again, like I get the balancing act that MLB has, but I just want City Connects are fine. I just don't want them to look like slow pitch softball uniforms or travel baseball uniforms. but I can appreciate the creativity. I like the traditional uniforms. Mix these in on occasion to give people something different, but let's call them what they are. They are very much a limited alternate.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Also, yesterday announced that Lone Depot Park in Miami is the home of the 2026 NHL Outdoor Classic. So Miami must be having all the ACs in that city shipped to Lone Depot Stadium to keep that ice even remotely cold.
Does the NHL front office have a map in it? Like, have they seen where Miami is?
I don't think so.
I mean, I've been to Miami when it's been like 40 degrees, and it feels cold, but like this is not a place that's going to be like 20 degrees for multiple days to keep ice cold.
No, but I mean they did do it at Carter Finley Stadium here in Raleigh a couple of years ago, and it was a success. Like they
Yeah,
have the machinery and the
they
technology
do.
to do it. My question is if they do hit a hot spell in Miami and Florida, which could happen, even if you have the ACs or whatever units underneath that full
Oh yeah.
blast, that ice is still going to be very wet. But I mean, it's cool that they're trying to expand all the way down south. I can't wait till they have it in Puerto Rico in a couple of years. Have hockey really expand down in Puerto Rico because I think they
Yeah.
play hockey a ton. And
Yeah. So let me give you the forecast for Miami this week. The low today was 62. The low tomorrow is 67. The low Tuesday is 63. The low Wednesday is 60. Thursday is 58. Friday is 67. Saturday is 69.
yeah,
I don't know how ice is going to hold up when the highs are in the 70s and your lows are only in the 60s. But I'm sure they got the machinery to do it. When I heard that, I'm like, are you serious? Like in Miami?
yeah,
Okay, bring it on.
yeah. Is this a ploy to bring the NHL team to Miami? Well, where's the Florida Panthers? Aren't they? Aren't the Florida Panthers in Miami?
No, they're in
Oh, they're in Sunrise.
Sunrise.
Where the heck is Sunrise?
I think that's closer to Orlando, isn't it?
I don't know. I I guess I never knew where Sunrise, Florida was.
Sunrise, Florida. Oh,
It's
sorry,
near
it's Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay,
So I mean, you're
but
north of Miami. You're not too far out.
yeah. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but it's just terrible. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. But people in shorts and a tank top or no shirt at all watching a hockey game is just going to be weird.
But
But
the
it'd
flip
be
side
kind
of it is, this might be the first time Lone Depot Park sells out for a long time,
of facts. Well,
just to
since
come see hockey.
WBC was probably the last time they saw a sellout.
Oh yeah, good point. They played the WBC there, so yeah, that's probably the last sellout they saw was WBC because nobody's coming to see the Marlins.
No, absolutely not. All right, Harrison. Here we go. I got some
boy.
trivia. It is a mixed bag, so good luck.
Awesome.
Here we go. There has only been one player who has been voted to an All-Star game representing both leagues, but for the same team. Who is it?
Is this an Astros player?
It is an Astros player.
And this has got to be somebody somewhat recent then. Although no, they made the switch back too, so could be either side of it. Let's see. Say Ryan wasn't there when they switched leagues.
Stay recent.
Okay, stay recent. All right, so let's see. When they made the switch, was Altuve there?
It was Jose
Okay.
Altuve. Yeah, good. Yeah, that one was a weird one because when it's asked, you're like, oh, okay, like two different teams. And then you're like, no, same team,
Yeah.
different leagues. And you're like, oh, all right.
Boy.
And then my mind also went to the Brewers too.
Yeah. I was thinking.
So that
I
was
was
the other
starting to
one
go
too.
down that path, but I'm like,
Yeah,
I feel like the Astros will make the most sense.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Who famously got picked off from first base after recording his 3,000th career hit?
Oh crap.
You followed.
It wasn't Jeter, was it?
Nope. Before him, you followed this team a lot, very closely this year.
Oh, was it Brett?
It was George Brett. Yep.
Oh wow.
Collected
I remember the
3,000
highlight. I could not think of who it was.
Yep. Collected his 3,000th hit and then picked off from first base. Like, sucks.
I like the way Wade Boggs did it. I'm just gonna hit a home run for my 3,000th hit, run around the bases, go back to the dugout, and celebrate it.
Yep. Yeah, him and Jeter, right? Were the only two.
Oh,
that
that's right.
it.
That's right. Jeter did it too.
Yep. All right. Top 5 list for you.
Okay.
Who are the top 5 active leaders in saves?
Okay, it's got to be Jansen and Kimbrell.
Yep.
Chapman.
Yep. That's 1, 2, and 3.
Is Presley there?
Nope.
Hader.
Nope.
Jansen, Chapman, Kimbrell,
NL East for both of them.
Diaz.
Diaz. Yep.
It's not Iglesias, is it?
It is Iglesias.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, Iglesias has got way more saves than I thought he had.
Yeah. And there's a big drop between Chapman and Diaz for sure. But
It's a big fall off. But look, I mean, 447 and 440.
yeah, nuts. Do we know who Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is? Yes. Why? Of course we do. Played for the D-backs last year.
Yeah, Nick is a part-time D-backs fan.
I would almost say full-time.
Yeah.
At this point, because the Red Sox hadn't done anything for him.
Yeah, at this point, probably is full-time.
Yep. Good job with that list, Harrison. Nice job.
Oh, yeah, the Diaz and Iglesias, those are sneaky names.
Yep, for sure. All right. This one might be a little bit tougher, but here we go. Name the 6 rookies with a 50 stolen base season since 2000.
Rookie season. Whew. Let's see. Did Ruiz do it with the A's?
Ruiz did it with the A's, number 1.
Did Birdie do it?
No. That's a good guess. He was close, I think.
Altuve didn't steal that many bases.
No.
It's a lot of steals, man. All right, Ruiz. Witt didn't get 50, did he?
No.
Acuna didn't get 50.
No. Another guy did it in 2023, and I watched him do it.
Oh, Corbin Carroll, obviously.
Yes, Corbin Carroll. Ichiro is another one. Nice, John.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ichiro would have snuck in just inside of 2000.
Yeah, Ichiro's number 3. Corbin's number 4.
All right, Ruiz, Carroll, Ichiro. Oh, Billy Hamilton's a good one.
It is number 2.
Yep.
Nice job.
Was that with the Reds?
That's with the Reds. Yep. 5 and 6 are sneaky.
I know there's not a lot of guys. Until the last few years, you haven't had a lot of guys steal 50.
All right. So career path for number 5. Let's see if I can remember it. Marlins, Red Sox, Dodgers.
Marlins, Red Sox, Dodgers.
Middle infielder. Power hitter. Came up with a Sea Dogs,
Hanley?
too.
I forgot
Hanley
Hanley stole bases.
Number 5.
He was so broken down by the time he came back.
And then number 6, he that gave us free tacos and the steal a base, steal a taco.
Oh, Ellsbury.
Yes, Jacoby Ellsbury. Yes. Good. Yeah, Corbin Carroll was 1, too. He was number 4. Nice job. All right. Next. Oh, here you go. So 67 for Ruiz in 23, 56 for Hamilton in 14, 56 for Ichiro, 53 for Carroll, 51 for Hanley, and 50 for Jacoby Ellsbury.
Man, Hanley Ramirez was a rookie in 2006.
Right.
I think he was around a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Most Gold Gloves by position starting in left field, Harrison.
I know these guys, so obviously played primarily in those
Yes.
spots.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see. Left field. That's a hard one because so many guys have kind of moved through the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Probably when you think of this name, you necessarily don't think defense because of what he did at the plate.
oh, it's like a power hitter.
Oh yeah, power hitter.
Are you serious or messing with me?
Yeah. No, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
Like probably the best power hitter of all time.
Oh, Barry.
Yeah, 8 Gold Gloves in left field.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So Barry Bonds in left, 8 center field.
Center field. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, if it's Andrew Jones, Ken Griffey Jr.
Nope, neither of them. Before them, the catch.
Oh, Mays. Duh.
Yep, with 12, right field. Nope, not Hank Aaron. Good guess.
Yeah, it's a good guess. It's my first guess. Right field. Ichiro.
Nope, not a bad guess. Has an arm like Ichiro, but my favorite player of all time.
Oh, Clemente.
Yeah, Roberto
The next guess would have
Clemente.
been Guerrero.
Yep, with 12. All right, first base.
First base.
Cardinals and Mets.
Oh, is this Keith?
Yep, Keith
Yep.
Hernandez. Good. Second base
Got to be Robbie Alomar.
is Roberto Alomar with 10. Shortstop.
It's got to be Ozzy. I want to say Omar, but I'm pretty sure it's Ozzy.
It is Ozzie Smith with 13. Obviously, third base here.
Brooks.
Yep, with 16. Behind the plate.
It's got to be Rodriguez, right? Pudge Rodriguez.
It is with 13. And then the pitcher has the most
Maddox.
ever. Maddox with 18.
So apparently I know the infield better than the outfield.
Yep. But the outfield's so hard because you're right. Like
I know it's
Bonds could play
did
right,
they play?
left, right. Yeah. So.
I struggle remembering like which outfield spot they played in because some of those guys rotate around.
Right, exactly. But yeah, imagine having that lineup behind you defensively.
There's no hits. You know, if they can catch it, they're going to catch it.
Yeah, absolutely
No hits.
Yeah, crazy. All right, Harrison. These ones were kind of fun for me to put together. They're kind of mixed around, but these were AI generated pictures. And some of them I had to tweak a little bit in order to get them to the team name. So here we go.
Are you trolling me with these? Are these legit?
No, these are legit.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
So here we go. Name these MLB teams by the AI generated pictures. First one.
The Pirates.
The Pirates, yep.
What are those?
Well, look, what are they standing next to?
A bridge? Oh, the Giants.
Yes, the San Francisco Giants.
The Sailors?
Uh-huh.
That's got to be the Mariners, right?
What are they? Yeah, Seattle Mariners. They're standing on the Space Needle.
Yeah, Space Needle.
Yep.
Oh, obviously the Red Sox.
Red Sox, yep.
Blue Jays.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Gotta have the maple leaf in the background.
Yep.
The Rangers.
The Rangers, good.
The Angels.
Yep.
Is that supposed to be Trout healthy?
Yeah, right.
Is that supposed to be the Mets?
Nope, not the Mets.
The Yankees?
Nope, it was another New York team that's not in New York anymore. But they got their name because of this.
Oh, the Dodgers. The Trolley Dodgers, right?
Dodgers. Yeah, Dodgers.
I want to say Athletics because those look like little elephants down there, but we got monks, which is throwing me off.
Right. So this city is known for its zoo.
Oh.
What's another name for a monk?
not the Braves. I was going to go with Atlanta, but
No.
the Padres.
Yes,
Yeah.
Padres. San Diego
Yep.
Padres.
Yep. I was like Padres. Got it.
Yep. Easy
Cardinals.
one. Yep.
The Brewers.
Brewers. Yep. This
Oh
one's
man.
this was a tough one. This was a little bit far fetched out of all the ones I had.
What the hell? I'm not even sure what that picture is.
Yeah, it's a city with a whole bunch of people that are all one color. This was probably the toughest one I got.
I am drawing a blank on this one. It's not. So let's see. Is it supposed to be the Reds?
It is the Reds, yeah.
Okay. Like it's just a lot of red. Like I'll go with that.
Yeah,
Reds. The Marlins.
Marlins, yep.
Oh, is that the Cubs?
Yeah, the Chicago Cubs. That one actually came out like really good.
Yeah,
I like
that one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the Rockies.
Rockies, yep.
Oh, the Athletics.
Athletics, yep.
Oh, the Orioles.
Orioles, yep.
The Royals.
Royals, yep.
Astros. The D-backs.
D-backs, that's kind of an easy one.
Is this with the Mets?
Yeah, the Mets. The 7 train gives it away. Come on.
I'm more like looking at the picture going, what?
Yeah. What are they?
They're babies.
Yeah, but look at them. What kind of babies are they?
They're babies with bats that hit.
Right, but they look the same.
Oh, the twins. Oh, geez. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Look at more of the background on this one.
Is that the Yankees?
Yankees, yeah. That one's a hard one to do.
White Sox?
White Sox.
With the deep dish pizza?
Yep.
Oh god. Is that Iron Man?
It's Groot and kind of Iron Man mixed together. But what are they?
And the Reds, the Cardinals. Is that the Guardians?
The Guardians.
Okay.
Yep. He's standing in front of Lake Erie.
I'm like, it's a Midwest team. Like who? Yeah. Oh, the Rays. That one's super colorful. The Phillies.
Yeah.
The Tigers.
I mean, kind of an easy one.
The Tigers should use that in their marketing. That's a pretty cool picture.
Yeah.
The Nationals.
And then
the Indians.
Nope.
Oh man, I really wanted to put the Indians in there. The Braves.
The Braves. Yep. So
those were cool.
Yeah.
Some of those were like really obscure.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I was like, how else do I do the Cincinnati Reds? Like I couldn't really think of doing another way. But yeah, those were really cool. Just kind of typed them in and that was fun. But yeah. So I don't have anything else for this week. It was a pretty slow news week. We're still waiting on Bregman. And all that stuff. So here we go.
Don't go anywhere. Oh, seriously?
Harrison's got to sign in now. Hold the phone.
Killing me. Like I'm in and then I'm not.
That's weird.
All right. Are we back in business? We're back in business.
We're back in business.
I get a few this or that's for you, Nick. Just to have a little fun here.
All right, here we go.
So I watched the 2004 comeback documentary that Netflix did on the Red Sox, which I thought was good. I mean, I think it was a recap of the stuff that we already sort of knew. So in honor of that, I've got a few this or that's from the 2004 playoffs, mostly the ALCS because that really was the highlight of the entire playoffs for the Red Sox. So let's go, Nick. Biggest moment of the 2004 ALCS Game 4. What was bigger, Dave Roberts' steal or Bill Miller's base hit to drive him in?
I mean, it has to be Robert Steele, right? I mean, as big as Billy Miller's hit was to drive him in, if he's caught stealing, his single's worthless. So it has to be the stolen base. Everybody knew he was stealing in the park. The entire Yankees team knew he was stealing. Everybody at home knew he was stealing, and he still stole the base. That, I mean, by far easily the biggest moment for me. I mean, love Billy Miller. Love that he came up clutch there. But if Roberts doesn't steal this base, 2004 doesn't happen.
I mean, true. So you took Dave Roberts. I'll take the counter argument. I'll take Billy Miller. And here's why. You've got Mariano Rivera, who's high leg kicks low to the plate. Jorge Posada, who's not a great thrower of the baseball, did not have a very high runners thrown out percentage in his career. They knew he was going, and they didn't pitch out, which I find shocking that they didn't pitch out knowing he was going, which would have given Posada a better chance. But I'm going to go with Bill Miller's hit because I think Dave Roberts was set up nicely to go. He had seen 3 throws over. Rivera slow to the plate. Posada's not a great thrower. And I give Billy Miller credit because he hit. I mean, granted, Rivera made a mistake and got too much to the plate, but left-handers hit like 0 against Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he ripped that cutter back up the middle. And in that moment, like he broke the Yankees' hearts in that moment and completely changed the trajectory of that whole series. So I'll take the Billy Miller hit for the reasons I mentioned. I think the most underrated play in this whole sequence was Kevin Millar's walk because Mariano Rivera also walks nobody. And Millar actually worked a walk off him, which was pretty impressive too.
Yep. Yeah, which he talks about in that documentary, I think. He goes through that whole at bat, like pitch by pitch, and it was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, and I want to say the stat was like Mariano Rivera had walked like 3 batters in his whole postseason career leading up to that at bat. Like he walks crazy. Nobody.
No.
I mean the whole sequence doesn't work. If Millar doesn't get on, Robertson steal, and Miller doesn't get the hit. Like you need all 3, obviously, but
yeah,
you can make an argument for all 3 of them. I mean that whole series of events absolutely gutted the Yankees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
They had him on the ground and they let him up.
Especially like you literally just kicked our teeth in 19 to 8 in game 3.
19-8 and then bloodbath.
And then for a team to come back in game 4 and not lay down after getting beat like that, like then they're like, we're in trouble.
Yep. All right, next one. Most clutch pitcher in the 2004 ALCS, Derek Lowe or Curt Schilling?
Well, so this is just for the ALCS and not the playoffs. I mean,
so for those who don't remember, Derek Lowe pitched game 4, having thrown like an inning in 2 weeks. Curt Schilling got lit up in game 1 and then came back in game 6 with the bloody sock and was lights out.
So it's so hard because Derek Lowe won every single series clinching game in the 2004 season. So like,
yep.
To say that he came in and was clutch, I mean, yeah, he closed out every game for us there. Yep. Or got the decision in every closing game, I should say. He didn't close it out. But what Curt Schilling did in game 6 after Jim Rowe coming on our podcast, the trainer at the time in 2004, and him talking through what they did for Schilling's ankle and what he went through and what he told him, that he's like, I don't care what you do to my ankle. I just need to go out there and pitch. Like for me, it's that game 6 for Curt Schilling. And it is just as much clutch for Schilling as it was stupid for the Yankees to not bunt and test out his ankles. I get the argument that you don't want to change your team's feng shui, for lack of better word. Like you want to keep doing what's gotten you there, and that's the Yankees could mash. You have a guy that literally can't move off the circle. And there was one broken bat chopper that he had to move to the first baseline for, and Red Sox Nation held their breath. They're like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, he had to cover first, and it was like, "Oh my goodness, please no."
Yeah. The Yankees, all they had to do is lay down 4 or 5 bunts in the first 2 innings, and he was out of the game.
Yeah.
There was no way.
And Torrey, they asked him that question point blank in the documentary. He goes, "I'm just not going to take the bats out of their hands. I'm going to let my guys do what they do, and maybe I should have, but that wasn't our style of play." And
I can
appreciate that. But
yeah,
but
I can too. But like eyeball test says, like even in men's league, we're saying like, oh, this dude's 55. He can't get off the mound. Like I'm going to lay down a bunt. Like I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but I can at least every Major League Baseball player should be able to bunt at this point.
Just drop one down.
But to listen to what Jim Rowe had to say about what they had to do to Kurt's ankle to get him even remotely ready for that game was I was sitting here. I think both of us were sitting here with our jaws on the floor, just being like, dude, what? I mean, that was clutch. But Lowe, like I said, was clutch all postseason. But just for the championship series, I'm going to have to go with Schilling there to get us to the game 7.
Fair. I mean, and honestly, you could flip a coin and the answer is good either way. I'll take the counterpoint to Lowe. I mean, he came out in game 4, having pitched like nothing at all in the last kind of almost 2 weeks, and shut down one of the better lineups the Yankees ever had to just keep the series alive. And then won in game 7 too. Granted, game 7, the Red Sox offense, came to life early. So it wasn't so stressful, but I'll give it to Lowe because there is no game 6 if he doesn't win game 4. And even he didn't think he was going to win game 4.
Yeah.
He basically went out there going, just don't blow it.
Yeah.
Just try to be good enough to not ruin this.
Yeah.
And Bill Miller won the batting title. Oh, sorry. Bill Miller won the batting title in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. He won the 03 batting title when he hit 326.
Yep. I was literally going to bring that one up.
Good timing. Yeah. And John takes Lowe. It's, again, you could pick either guy. I mean, I give it to Lowe because he won game 4 when you had to have it on nothing. He won game 7, which also a huge game. Schilling was not good in game 1. He was absolute legendary in game 6. You can pick either one. You can't go wrong.
Lowe's sinker, I just remember it just being wow. I mean, it was unreal. And I think he even says that in the documentary. He's like, I don't even know why my sinker was doing that, but it was moving like crazy. I'd never seen him throw like that ever.
No, his sinker in the playoffs was so good. It probably had something to do with the cold air. Probably moves better in the thinner cold air. It doesn't have as much grip, so it's easier to kind of let it slip out of the hand. I mean, I don't know, but he was nasty, and nobody barreled up anything against him.
No. Yeah. That was a good one.
All right, last one. The most crushing, which moment was more crushing for Yankees fans? The A-Rod slapping of the glove where he was called out after they thought they were going to take the lead, or Johnny Damon's grand slam in game 7, which basically began the hit parade for the Red Sox?
His first or second grand slam?
Well, it was a grand slam and a 2-run, right?
2-run homer. That's right. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean,
grand slam came first, in the 3rd inning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to say, I don't know. That one's hard because even when Johnny Damon hit that grand slam to go up, 10-2 or whatever, us as Red Sox fans, we're still it's not enough. We want this score to be 32-1. Then maybe we'll start to feel comfortable. But I don't know. These are so polar opposites. Because I think if you're in the park, you don't see A-Rod slap the ball out of Arroyo's glove. I don't think you understand what's happening. And then when they call A-Rod out and they put all the runners back, everybody in the stands is like, what's going on? Then the riot gear comes out.
Yeah, that was nuts. Throwing stuff on the field. They take the players off the field.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'd have to say the Johnny Damon grand slam because it was it's game 7. It's now out of reach and we don't have a shot at this point. And Johnny friggin' Damon's killing us. Yep. So I'm going to go with that one.
And I think that's a great one. I'll take the A-Rod one just to give the counter argument. I think that every Yankee fan out there thought, oh my goodness, the curse, the babe is back. He's on our side. They can't win. And then when they take it back, and that's why I think you saw the reaction that you saw, Yankees fans were clinging on to the hope that this was going to be the break they needed. And when they didn't get it, I think you could sense from the Yankees fans that, like, we're in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
if they end up winning this game, we are in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So I think for Yankees fans, that one hurt, which is why you got the response you got, because I think they realized they didn't have a whole lot of answers.
No. Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy to me also that the umpires actually got this right at a time before replay. Right? I mean, that's kind of a miracle in itself, because like in real time we didn't understand that he slapped it. Like, watching the game live,
Right.
we didn't realize that he slapped it out of the glove until they were doing the replay.
Yeah,
and then they saw it. Yeah. So good for the umpires getting that one right. But
yeah. And they, Terry Francona in the documentary talked about the moment. And as he's running out there, Joe West, the home plate umpire, goes, "I got this," because he knew exactly why Terry was coming out. And it was Joe West that actually overturned the call, because from home plate, he had the best view,
right,
looking behind him, of the two players coming together when A-Rod swung his hand.
Yeah.
And then the memes that came out of that, with like the pocketbook on his arm, and like there were so many great memes that came out of that.
Yeah.
And it was so fitting that it was Alex Rodriguez that did that, because he was so polarizing once he got to the Yankees for Red Sox fans, because of the whole trade that fell apart.
Right.
The 2003 fight with Veritek, this incident, like, he became like the lightning rod of Red Sox hate. And that team didn't win until 2009 with all that talent.
Yeah.
And that was really, 2004 was kind of like the unraveling of the Yankees for a little while, where they kind of lost their way and then finally recovered.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as bad as 03 was for us Red Sox fans, it made 04 that much sweeter.
Oh my goodness. And then also the vindication of watching the Marlins beat the Yankees in 2003.
Yes.
Eased a little bit of the pain, but 2004 was like, it was 86 years of vindication, and at least 5 years of vindication against that Yankees group.
Yeah. Agree.
That just kept holding them down.
Yeah.
Because it was 5 straight years finishing second?
At least.
Something like that.
Yeah. Brutal. Man, those were good ones. I like those ones.
That's it.
All right. Do you have anything else to add for this week? Because
I don't. It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah. So like I said before, we started the this or that. Still waiting on Bregman. Still waiting on Santander. Waiting on a whole bunch of guys that are just. I mean, spring training's in 4.5 weeks here, so let's get a move on here. Or pitchers and catchers report in 4.5 weeks.
And Roki Sasaki, it sounds like, is supposed to make his decision this week.
Yeah, the 15th was the window, right? So he's got so Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
They're saying 15th to the 23rd. Somewhere in there he's going to make his decision. It sounds like he might be closer than expected, so we'll see.
Dang. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, he's probably known for 3 weeks, and he's just been sitting on it since he's been back in Japan.
He must know by now where he's going.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that will do it for tonight. Nice quick one this evening. Hopefully we got some news that we can actually talk about next week. But before you go, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram, follow on Rumble, can subscribe on YouTube, can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are going to be on Sunday nights here for the foreseeable future. So you will catch us on Sunday nights here. And then our show will be released Monday morning if you listen to it on audio. But we will be here Sunday nights. Probably not Super Bowl week. We'll probably move that one. But Sunday nights we'll be here. It's to set up some possibly exciting stuff for me and Harrison in a few weeks that we're working on. So I'll just give you a little teaser there. But until then, might pop on if we got some big news. But keep your eye out. And if not, we'll just see you next week at 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody stopped by tonight and left some stuff in the comments. We love the engagement. Happy to hang out with you guys.
All right. See ya.
See ya.